So when you open Task 10 attachment, it gives you 3 things to look at. A slideshow, which we're going to do today together, and then an article by Zimmerman that you need to read tonight and take notes on. And I've included a little chart to make your own, it's your own copy with your name on it over on the right. I've included a chart. Do you see the chart? Does everybody see the chart? Hunter, you found it, show your neighbor. Pardon?
How many, who all wants one in the library?
Well, we're going to do that right now. Hunter, we can do that in the class, but we got to do this.
I'll go 10.
Okay, are you printing them, Hunter?
Yeah, they're printed.
Okay, all right, I'll have you go get those for a minute. But does everyone understand the homework assignment?
Yes.
Okay.
But right now we're going to the slideshow.
Yes, now we're going to the slideshow. There's 3 people that I forgot who they are. Oh, Crowder, Palos, and Smith. All right, did you start it?
Yeah.
We're good. All right, thank you so much. All right, now, listen up. I looked at this slideshow. It was created a while back by some students. It's a good slideshow, but some of it is a little difficult to understand. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to assign your group a couple of slides. You're going to look over those slides, and then you're going to present them to the class. So I need, let me see if we don't have today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13. We have 19 people. So we need groups of 2, and one group might have to be a 1 on their own,
Can I be a 1?
which I appreciate.
Go.
Okay, so Derek's going to be the one. He already volunteered. So Derek, come up and get this paper and get a sticky note. Okay, the sticky note corresponds to which slides you're going to look at. So Derek will go first. Okay. Okay, another group of 2. Get you and your partner, or get a group with your partner. There you go, Hunter. Keep going. You got a partner? Yep, go.
Cool.
So I just get one of these papers?
Yes, get a paper and a sticky note.
Hey, what do we want? What numbers?
8 now.
Really, Joss?
You don't even know what you're picking, but that's okay, because you can do all of this.
We got 2-3.
There. A paper and a sticky note, then have seats.
Just one sticky note?
Yes, just one for you and your partner.
Dude, why does this smell like
Okay, there's still 3 left. 2 hasn't come and got an assignment for them and their partner.
Helpers? Yeah.
Good job, Brent.
Who doesn't have a partner?
Nicole needs a partner. Who does not have a partner?
How many people are working here?
Count right.
Okay, we still have 1 left. Did I not count right? Okay, Nicole, could you do one on your own also? Maybe I counted wrong.
Well, because Carson and,
Oh, Carson's absent. Yeah. Normally you'd have a partner, but we're missing 2 people. All right. Okay, listen up. Look at your paper. Guys, I need your attention.
What paper?
Jason. Okay, if you don't have your paper, your partner will show it to you in a minute, so just listen. Hustle, Hunter. We're in the middle somewhere. Real quick, this is important, okay? Please. Okay, we ready? All right, it says, examine the slides you are assigned and briefly take notes below. Be prepared to present or explain your slide to the class, because we're going to be doing that. So right now, where it says your slides, write down the number that you were assigned from your sticky note, right there. Okay, and this is what you're going to do. Read, are we ready to listen? Okay, read each sentence and or look at the pictures, because one of the slides has just pictures, and you'll have to research those.
I hope we just got it.
Okay, number 2. Restate each sentence in simpler terms, to reword or rephrase it or paraphrase it, and write it down here, because you're going to be saying that to us. Then, define any terms or acronyms needed to improve understanding. Let's say they use a term like sustainability. You need to define that so we understand further what the slide is talking about. Because if it talks about sustainability and we don't know what that is, we need further directions. Let's say they use an acronym, such as CR or GBP. If they use an acronym, you need to look it up or figure out what it means so that we as an audience will understand that. Okay? And then finally, if possible, give an example of your own that illustrates one of the points or the points presented on your slides. Okay? We're going to probably do this for about 7 minutes, I think that's plenty, depending on your slides. And then we're gonna go through the slideshow, and you're gonna come up here and explain the slides to us. So, time is starting right now. Go ahead.
Where's our slide?
If you need help, let me know. Your slides are right here on task 10.
Which one is it?
It says, it's the very first one, slideshow. Do you see that? So open task 10. Yeah, sometimes you have to right click to open the slideshow, but it should open from the document. There you go. No, that's not very nice.
Is that what we have to read now?
Where's the
Yeah.
slideshow?
Okay, go to task 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, it is.
Task 10, the very first reading listed is the slideshow.
Oh.
The first one, and it says slideshow. Are we finding that?
Not there either. Let's have a race.
If you cannot find the slideshow, raise your hand.
Okay, what's this say?
It
It says ethically. I know they covered up the word. It says ethically.
Wait, do we
So
have
we
to
make
make
our
our
own
own
slideshow? Okay, so you guys look at this together.
We make our own.
Okay, let's pause for a minute. You are not making your own slideshow. It is already created.
no picture.
Okay? But sometimes the slideshow, some of the things are a little harder to understand. So we're looking over it, we're going to present it to each other in simpler terms so that we can understand it. Even I, when I was reading through this, some of them, even I, with all my wisdom and wit, had to kind of understand it. Okay, because it deals with economics and that stuff, which I'm not the greatest at,
What do we
but I'm
do?
learning. Mitch?
What do we do on that? Just read it.
Okay, where's the paper I just gave you? What does it tell you?
So we're done already?
Okay, so you're going to read it, and then what does number 2 tell you?
Okay, so just read.
Number 2 says you have to write it in simpler terms. So restate what the slide says. What's it basically talking about?
It's a clothing brand and it says.
Okay, you have the one that's all pictures. So basically, what is,
Consumers are
the one at the bottom left says how we hand me down.
that mean?
If you look up how we hand me down, or some other companies that.
How is hand-me-down?
How is hand
What do
me
you
down?
have that?
You can go columns 1 to 1. So yours is a little different, guys, you have pictures. So basically, you're gonna just look up what these stand for and tell us about it. What is how we hand me down? What is columns 1 to 1 consist of?
It's not working.
Okay, so your graph here, you would talk about what it's about.
Or not.
Starts for me to read there.
Don't think this
We're not quite there. 20? I don't know what the highest score. So what you're going to explain to them is that on a scale of 1 to 20,
Okay, the third one
doing things ethically. And we'll understand what that is, because people before you will talk about what's ethics. Okay, so you're kind of jumping in the middle, okay? And so you're going to talk about those, and then when you go to the next
Yeah,
slide.
it is. I took 3 lines down to
Oh,
1.
this is your first one. Okay, this is in 1920. So, and yeah, and this guy was older, so if you can read through it and try and tell us what does he basically say. So read it, and then just restate a few of his ideas, what his person says. Because this was the 1920s, it was a little formal, but what's the point being made? What we should do? And then you can go to the next slide and say, are we doing what he said? We're not quite there yet, but these companies. Who else needs some help trying to understand their slide or what we're doing?
You mean,
Okay.
this is mine.
That takes me so long.
Okay, so you know what CR today is, what CR means?
Is a soup
Okay, so you want to look up CR for her?
there?
You look up what CR means, and then we can help it.
Business operation.
Okay? But despite that, it says, here's a survey that was done. Consumer, no, that's not the one, keep going. There's a better one.
So we say each sentence.
Yeah, I had to look them up too.
That's kind of comfortable because they like.
I thought it was consumer, but here's a better one.
Yeah.
Corporate responsibility.
Write that down?
Yeah, write it on your paper, so people, you can explain it, yes.
What if you just know it?
Well, yeah, but just make sure you remember. Corporate means your company, are they being responsible as far as what they put in their sweatshops and hurt people?
Oh, I know, I understand.
Okay, so now when you look at these, okay, professional attitudes and expectations.
Yeah, I just like walk.
So for these companies, oh, these are for people. They said, you know, when you buy something from this company, yeah, would you support this company? How many would?
That needs to go fast.
Okay,
ESR,
that's the name of the survey that they did, so don't worry about that. But just kind of mainly talking about what corporate responsibility is. And somebody before your slide will discuss corporate responsibility too. So that will help, you're kind of jumping in the middle. Who else needs help with this? Okay, are you guys a different group? Are you on your own? Okay. Are you working? Okay, good. Okay, so. You're doing that. Okay, social seven supersedes, comes before, you'll come across that. Traditional audit auditors, including suppliers of inputs, employees and trade unions, and technical unions. So, if you say you need to be socially accountable for what your company does, then it's not just you, it also includes people who supply you. You say, well, we make things ethically, we don't have a sweatshop, but what about the people you get your supplies from to make what you make? So you have to go a little farther, okay? Are they being good, and are they being really kind? What about employees? Also, the trade unions, are you being fair with your workers? Okay, and then what's the last one? Government. Is your government overseeing or over anything, that you do in your company? Is that important? Yeah, it's telling you to be socially accountable, you've got to look at all of these things. So basically, that's what you're going to tell the class. And then if possible, give an example, like I just said, blah, blah, blah. Your suppliers. If your suppliers are giving you parts for a car that are manufactured unethically, then are you being ethical by using those suppliers?
So eBay is a place where I can go
Yeah.
and sell
So
something.
then you're not. You say, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, but the stuff you get from someone else, those are unethical, so that is wrong. So you could give an example of, car parts used to make a car, are unethical, so you probably should use them or find a more ethical source. Okay, you guys, I'm getting to you. You were next. Did you figure it out?
But there's more to
We had a
Apple.
question.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll come around. It's
No Apple.
So for this one, we put the CSR, like
No one else
and
can
then
get
for the
that.
first
So we know what it is?
yeah,
Okay.
it's just like pretty much.
And this is defining it, yes.
Yeah.
If you're going to have social responsibility, your company or a corporate thing, then what are these things you need to do? So you just need to be able to explain these things.
So then we need help on these two sentences. We don't get this. The first one's kind of confusing.
Positive by favoring ethical products.
No, this one.
Companies must rise to the challenge and clearly define and articulate their corporate social responsibility values. So they should say, this is what our company does in order to be,
Speak clearly.
yes, and they should list it and put it out there so that we know that they're trying and doing something.
Okay, and then this one.
Consumer interest in CSR is unlikely to diminish over the coming years. And ignoring consumers' interest simply gives your competition time to establish leadership. So as a company, if you don't do that, you don't care how your things are, other companies do, and they'll build prominence over you. Also, the people who buy stuff from your company, do they care about these things? Some do. It's becoming more and more prevalent. You know what I mean?
And then we just talk about the image, right?
Yeah. And that shows you that companies are trying to do that now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, did you guys get your question answered?
We were gonna ask.
Okay. Okay, can you come up with an example of your own? Okay, eyewear, songs, yes. And then, okay, and so we're looking at things that are made of furs and things that are, how are these things, are they ethically made? Is this car produced in a sweatshop where little kids work, you know what I mean? And so you're basically giving them the basis of, yeah, so here's some of your examples that you can say. Yeah, so eyewear, where and how was it produced? Put a car or put a fur coat? Is that real fur or animal fur? And let's make it that, or is it fake
And
fur?
other companies.
So you're basically defining what ethical consumerism is to us. You're like going to teach us, I think.
Eventually take.
Okay? So it requires that we think about our carbon footprint when choosing what to buy. I might say, well, I'm going to buy these apples. So apples could be an example. I'm going to buy these apples, and these apples were not made with any pesticides. Better for the environment. But you say, yeah, but they have to be trucked into Firth from 2 states away, because Firth doesn't have, Firth uses pesticides. Well, then look at that.
We should
Are you sure there's no problem? Okay, even though you're saying I'm using the product without pesticide, if you have to truck it from 2 states away, what's that gonna do to the carbon dioxide? What's that doing to our
That's just
environment?
all respectful.
That's bad. Okay, yes, you guys can next. Well, hold on, we're almost done.
So stupid. We got a stupid clubhouse.
Okay, Southern American Capital. So are these companies?
I am pro-American.
So what your next slide?
We lost.
So here's what they found.
That's your computer, not mine.
They found out that their company was not doing what they should, and 80% of people say I wouldn't stop if they don't stop.
Joke's on you, I'm just gonna pull up the
Because
good
it's not
stuff.
being an ethical company, it's doing bad practices.
Yeah, I know.
Okay?
That's the
What
point.
does 80% of people say? What did you say?
What do you say?
I saw what he
That
did,
actually scared me.
but what did the signal?
75% would refuse to work with it.
Oh, my
He
bad.
just came around really
Okay, and that's what people say, I don't know if they follow through. If you were working at a company and you found out they were having poor practices and weren't being ethical, would you quit, go to another guy, gonna hire you? Yeah, I don't like it, I know it's bad, but I need the job, so I'll stay. Would that matter to
You
you?
gotta have everyone
So
there.
that's what they're asking. So when you talk to the class, you kind of explain your situation, that's what I'm saying. Okay? Anyone else that needs some help? How are we doing? Are we ready to present? Okay, one more question?
Yeah, so on number 8, on these, first reading off, you guys say, I think, so what's driving the percent? So he said, we can increase, extra credit organization, technically, we have something like that.
You run some businesses to solve problems. More and more consumers saying, I want to buy your product, but are you doing things to help this world? Are you doing good things, or is your company bad and have bad practices? Maybe I'm not going to buy your product. So that's what we're talking about. Yeah, well, we'll have those up on there so they can see them, but if you could refer to them and have explain it to them. Because I went over the same slideshow and I was like, some of this makes sense.